Okay, folks, I wanted to take some time to show you Bigfoot. This is my 9 by 9 multi-floor elevator. Came up with just recently. This is based on Dr. Plasma's 9 by 9 slime block elevator. But I had to make a few modifications to make it multi-floor. And here it is. Let's see, 12 floors. All right, it's got, of course, instant wire. It's got a lot of latches, a lot of circuitry. It's got 3 by 3 doors, which is very cool for an elevator. Since the platform is so big, I thought a 3 by 3 would fit perfectly as it does. All right, yeah. Call function, lectern base. But yeah, there it is. So now, this thing is so large, and it has quite a bit of an overhang here. So it's very hard to reach that observer there, and this observer, without keeping the elevator shaft clean and clear so this elevator could go up. So in order to make this multi-floor, I decided to come up with these command blocks. All right, this rack of command blocks here. And the only thing that does is it primes the elevator on the first tier. So let's bring this elevator down so I can simply explain it a little better. Let's call it down here. But you'll see the doors operate nicely. Nice. I came up with this door not too long ago. I did a short tutorial on, or a short video on it. Don't really need a tutorial. You can tell by looking at it what needs to be done. So, yeah. So what happens is these command blocks throw a block under here and then air it at once at the same time, and you've got 6 of them. So you can't even see the block, but what it does, it sets this first tier in motion, and then after that you've got these 2 pistons that fire these. You've got this one that needs to be fired, and then this one sends it up in the air. So it's a little bit of a process, but it's a very cool design. So I wanted to take the time to do it. So, and when these blocks appear and disappear, you can't even see them. So what I'll do is let's call it up here, and then you can see the elevator will take off and you won't even see the blocks right here. See, it fires up, but you can't even see them. So that's very cool. And there we go. There's a lot of cool circuitry here. A lot of NOR latches, a lot of resets. But even though the elevator is so large, it's still a pretty reasonable footprint, I feel, for all it has to offer. It's got, call up and down. You can ride it up or down. Functioning doors, indicator lights on both sides, actually. There's indicator lights over here as well that just tell you the level of the elevator. All right, this tells you where the elevator's at. Let's see. Yeah, so over here in the back is kind of what makes this whole thing run, is this control panel here. All right, let's back up here a little bit. Came up with this idea, and it works well. So over here on the left side of this control panel, you've got your up, and then it incorporates this wall here is your down. And then of course these observers. This is for your call function. And what happens is when the signal goes up, here. All right, it activates this observer, which in turn activates this block. All right, and then that would send the elevator down, and this one sends the elevator up when it's called. So that's what goes on there at this section. Down here, you'll see you have two observers. All right, right here. So these two walls send signals to these two observers. And these two observers actually run into one line, and I'll tell you why that is here in a bit. And then next you have these staggered orange blocks. Here, let's set the time so we can see a little better here. All right, that's better. Okay, so these blocks here are staggered, and what these do is allow the elevator to be locked. It activates the lower lock on the elevator, so when the elevator is traveling down, it'll stop at your chosen floor. And over here, you have in this staggered bubble column, you actually have an observer here that accepts a signal. All right, that's a floor. This is a floor. This is a floor, and actually this is tied into this. So I'm going to show you that quickly, what goes on there. Oh, and then there's one more, which is this bubble column that supplies a signal to this chain here, this line and of redstone blocks, and this line sets the elevator in motion, up or down, whether you call it or whether you ride it. And only one redstone block will activate at a time. Okay, you've got a NOR latch here, and you've got this locking system here. And when the elevator is on a particular floor, that's when this redstone block will be retracted. And when a signal goes up here, it'll actually send this block out, send a signal through here. It'll end up in both of these spots, but then this takes over, and this is going to determine if the elevator goes up or down. In this case, it's always going to go up if you look at them. All right, and then when you want the elevator to go down, this is going to pull back here, and the signal is going to go over here instead of over here. And I'll show you how that activates. It's pretty cool, actually. Now, tied into this NOR latch signal goes across the build. All right, and it goes over to these redstone blocks, which are over here. Let's see if we can hop out of here for a minute. All right, you've got redstone blocks here on this side, and these work just like the other redstone block, and they're tied in. As you can see that that line in there, lit green line. These are retracted as well, and these control whether the elevator goes up and down based on when you call it. All right, and then these activate that redstone block over there, and it's all tied in together. So then, all right, so getting ahead of myself here. So let's take a look at the elevator. What goes on in here? You've got your control system here, which is actually a filter. It's a transmitter because it transmits a signal, but it transmits a couple of signals. It's got three different functions, actually. It's a filter because it filters out if the elevator is going to be going up or down. So what happens is, let's take a look here. We are on floor 2. So say we wanted to go up to 5. It's already there. So what's going to happen when you push that button, then you're going to have a 5 come across here. Okay, and a 5 come across here because it gets split here. And then This is a 1, so 5 minus 1 is 4. So a 4 comes here, and that's going to lock this. And this line is your elevator going down line, and this is your elevator going up line. So since you're going to go up, you chose a larger number, then this gets blocked off, and then the signal goes down here. And it goes to one of those walls that I pointed out, and it sends a signal over to those redstone blocks. And since that one is retracted, it'll send a signal to the elevator, and the elevator will go up to floor 5. In addition to doing that, the elevator also sends a signal through that trapdoor and down that wall. And that signal is actually a pulse length or a duration. In other words, it's on for a while and then it's off. So we chose 5. So this duration is going to be 5. So this block sits here for until this reaches 5, this counter. And then it turns that duration into a value of 5. And then that value goes into this red coder. And it chooses which floor here is going to be activated. In this case, it's this one here. So this column is going to have a signal sent up. And this red coder is, I kind of modified it for 12 floors. And it's got a reset over here. This thing here is a counter / receiver. All right. And as I said, it changes the signal from a duration to a value. Value goes in here and gets distributed properly. So that works out very well. And this here is just a line over top. That's all that is. All right. So in here is 2 things going on. You've got this going down. That's going to send the elevator up or down. And you've got this situation here, which is going to choose where the elevator is going to stop if the elevator is going up or down. So in this case, we've got 5. So the signal goes, as well as going to that redstone block, it goes up here. And then this is your activation for floor 5 for the locks, okay? And what happens is this redstone block comes out and it sends a signal in 2 different directions. It sends a signal down this blue line as well as through this orange line. Now the fact that the elevator is going up means that this latch here is controlled by this piston. This piston is in the up position, which means that this up block is going to be locked when the signal goes through. Now the signal also goes through this orange line. However, this block is in a position to where this signal is going to stop right here. Now if the elevator was higher than this position, then this block would move over to this position right there, and then the signal would actually go through, and at the same time that blue block down there, right there, will get lowered, and then that latch will not be activated. However, the signal will go through here, right? Let me just put this back before I forget. So the signal will go through here, it'll go down this wall, all right, and it will activate that redstone block, and it'll come over here, and then it'll send a signal to this latch, and then it'll send this redstone block out, and that's how the lower lock is activated. So depending on where the elevator's at, will determine which direction the signal goes. It's going to either activate the upper lock or the lower lock. All right? And those change automatically because on the bottom of the elevator, we have some detectors here, right here. So when it passes by these, let's go up one because this is the first floor. Actually the bottom of the, yeah, that's the first floor. So let's go up here. So you've got, when those observers pass by these blocks, it sends a signal through here, and then it puts that block in the position it needs to be. It also changes the position of this block, which is for the call function. And then it also resets this and pulls this back. So a lot happens when the elevator moves, and it's all in sync. I think one of the hardest things about this elevator was the timing of everything. So everything works without a lot of delay. Doesn't work too fast because you have a lot of things happening at once. You've got, this redstone block is going to come out and send a signal here. All right, hang on one second here. This redstone block is going to send a signal through here. And if you're going to go down, this has to be over here long enough for it to send a signal here. And the distance from when you press the button to the block could be, it varies when you go up higher. So that affects the timing. All that comes into play. But the variations in timings you don't even notice on this elevator, which is cool. But let's send it up and we'll take a look and see what happens when the elevator goes up. All right, so what happens is you push the button. We're going to go up to 5. Okay, we're on 5. And obviously the elevator door is going to close. What we have here is kind of a spam-proof thing for the call function. So if you were to try to call this elevator on this floor, it's already here, so you can't call it, actually. If you see, you can't call it. But when the elevator moves, then this observer is going to go to this position, which allows you to call it. All right, so that just kind of makes it a little bit foolproof. So what happens when the elevator moves is the doors close, the light turns off, this block goes into this position, and then the lock will be thrown at whatever floor we chose. And in this case, we chose 5. So right here, we're on floor 2. So 3, 4, 5 is going to be up here. And it's actually going to activate this situation here. It's going to pull that redstone block in, and this latch will change state. And it all happens when this lock gets retracted. This actually will send a signal down this line, and it will retract that lock, that redstone block, because that redstone block only is retracted on wherever the elevator is located. Anyway, let's try it. So we're going to go up to 5 where the lock is. So we'll press this, take a look up. All right, doors closed down there, I'm sure. Lock popped. All right, doors closed, lights off. All right, we're going to go up here. All right, and then what's going to happen is there's going to throw a signal down through here. It's going to make this redstone block come out when the elevator sits at the floor. I always say come out. It gets retracted. So now this elevator is in a position to accept a command, whether it's you're going to call it or whether you're going to ride it. And I know all that talking, you're distracted, but all that happened very quickly, very smoothly, and that's what goes on. So now if we were to write it down, all right, say we're on 5 and we want to go to 3. All right, so what's going to happen is, let's see if we can do this quick. We'll go down and see this redstone block extend down there. And then when the elevator hits it, there's a piston at the bottom of the elevator that's going to extend, become immovable, and stop the elevator. It's also going to change that redstone block location. Just like it did for the upper one, it's going to do it for the lower one. All right, so this is a reset line activated by that lock, and that same reset line gets activated by this lock when it gets reset. So that's a pretty cool thing. So anyway, we're going to go down to 3. All right, let's go down. You'll see the redstone. First of all, you see the doors close, light off. Redstone block gets thrown. Down there, you're going to see it hit the piston. It's going to become immovable. Stop the elevator. It's going to get reset. And this redstone block gets pulled in. This signal is carried across the elevator. So now the other two redstone blocks are going to be pulled in as well. All right, and when they get pulled in, that pulls this in, which sends a signal up this line, and it opens the door. And once the door opens, and then this goes into position where you can't call the elevator. And boom, and the light turns on. And that's how that works. And all that same stuff happens when the elevator's called. It's just the signal kind of comes from a different direction. So basically, that's about it. You know, it was a cool build, a fun build. All the floors are the same thing, which you did on the first floor. Second floor is the same thing you did on the 5th floor, the 8th floor. So the build is actually pretty easy, as long as you have some of the principles of an elevator in mind. This door, 3x3 door, as I said, I designed this door, I don't know, about a month ago, and I did a quick video on it. It's a very simple door, quick, but it works perfect for this build. So thanks to Dr. Plasma for his design of the elevator carriage itself, although I had to alter it a little bit. But this was a challenge, and here it is. In the description, I'm going to put a world download for this. And as well, I will put a tutorial for Dr. Plasma's building of the 9x9 slime block elevator. Hope you all enjoyed this video and this elevator. That's all I got. Peace out.